Disrespect doesn't destroy you. Reaction does. Someone cuts you down in front of other people. Not enough to start a fight, just enough to put you on the spot. A few faces turn, the room goes still. Now everyone is waiting to see what you do. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks, your mind reaches for something sharp. Most people think this is the moment to prove themselves, to answer fast, to push back, to show they're not weak. That is the mistake, because the moment you react just to protect your ego, you stop choosing your response. Now the insult is choosing it for you. A Stoic would call that defeat. Disrespect is not the real danger. Losing yourself in response to it is. In this video, we're breaking down 5 ways people lose themselves when they feel disrespected. Most people make the first 2 instantly. The 4th one looks calm but still makes you smaller. And the last one is what keeps your dignity intact. Your sovereignty begins at your reaction. Let's break it down. 1. The trap. Disrespect feels like a challenge. That is why it controls so many people. A message appears in the group thread. Let's not overcomplicate this. Short, public, dismissive. Just enough to tighten your body. You read it once, then again, and immediately, your mind starts building a response. Not because the comment was true, because something in you wants to correct the disrespect. That is the trap. The first mistake doesn't happen when you answer. It happens earlier. It happens the moment you feel the need to prove something, to prove you're competent, to prove you noticed the jab, to prove you're not weak, to prove they can't speak to you like that. That pressure feels justified. It isn't. It is ego rushing into the moment before judgment arrives. And once that happens, you are already inside their frame. Now the exchange is no longer about the work or the message or the truth. It becomes about you trying to recover position. That is why disrespect works. Not because it is powerful by itself, because it makes people abandon their center to protect their image. A Stoic would call that defeat. Not because you felt the sting, but because the moment started choosing for you. Your tone, your timing, your behavior. Ask yourself, are you responding from strength, or are you trying to repair how this made you feel? Stay there, because the moment you need the disrespectful person to feel your strength, you are already giving them too much control. That is the truth. The insult is small, the cost is not. And the moment it moves you, you start getting smaller. Most people only know 2 responses here. They either explode or they start explaining. Both make them smaller. Let's go to the first one. 2. The 2 mistakes. Most people only know 2 ways to answer disrespect. Both feel strong. Both make you smaller. The first is obvious. You explode. Your tone hardens. Your speed increases. You answer before you think. Now everyone can see the comment got inside you. You think you're pushing back. What they see is that you lost composure. The second mistake looks cleaner. You explain. You slow your voice. You add context. You try to sound reasonable. You try to make yourself understood. Now you're not pushing back. You're asking to be seen correctly. That is weakness in a polished tone. One reaction looks emotional, the other looks weak. Neither keeps respect, because both come from the same place. You were moved. Now you are trying to recover. That is why disrespect works so well. Not because it proves anything, because it makes people perform. Some perform anger, some perform control, some raise their voice, some hide inside explanations. But both are still reacting for the room, and the room feels that. Self-respect is not volume, and it is not apology. It is not proving. It is not persuading. It is staying in command when the moment is trying to pull you into display. So ask yourself, am I protecting my dignity here, or just trying to repair how this made me look? Stay with that. Because once your response becomes performance, you are already off center. That is the truth. One costs composure, the other costs position. Neither leaves your dignity untouched. So, what do you do instead? First, stop treating every attack like truth. Let's go there. 3. Not every hit is real. This is where people waste themselves. They hear a sharp tone, a dismissive comment, a passive-aggressive line, and treat all of it like truth. That is the mistake. Some words carry information, some carry insecurity, some carry nothing but bait. If you answer all three the same way, you lose clarity. A manager says, "I expected better." That might be data. A coworker says, "Interesting choice." That might be projection. Someone smiles and says, "Sure, if that works for you." That is usually bait. Not every insult deserves your energy. Not every tone deserves your response. The Stoic move is not numbness. It is discernment. Before you answer, sort the hit. Useful? Keep it. Poison? Drop it. Bait? Don't bite. That is the first shift. You stop swallowing every word personally. And the moment you stop doing that, you stop giving every comment the power to move you. Ask quietly, is there something here I need to see? Or is this just pressure looking for a reaction? That question clears the fog. Now you are not inside the attack. You are above it. That is the truth. Some comments deserve correction. Some deserve distance. Some deserve nothing. And once you see that clearly, you're finally ready for the rule that changes the whole exchange. 3 seconds. Let's go there. 4. The rule that changes the moment. This is where most people lose it. They think control means having the perfect response. It doesn't. Control begins before the response. A message lands, a remark cuts across the room, a tone shifts, and your body surges before your mind arrives. That is the moment. Not later, not after the damage. Right there. If you lose that moment, you usually lose the rest. So the rule is simple. 3 seconds. Not to look calm, not to impress anyone, to stop the moment from choosing for you. Second one, pause. Do not speak, do not type. Do not rush to repair the image. Second 2, breathe. 1 slow breath, long enough to interrupt the surge. Second 3, choose. Not the sharp line, not the satisfying line, the clean line. That's not how I see it. Let's keep this clear. I'm not engaging with that tone. That doesn't work for me. 1 sentence, then stop. That stop is part of the move, because most people ruin the response by adding another one, then another, then an explanation. Then the whole thing collapses. The power is not only in the sentence, it is in the fact that urgency did not get to use your mouth. You always control your response, nothing else. That is the discipline, not the room, not them, not the insult. Only this, your tone, your timing, your attention. That is enough. Because once those 3 stay yours, the whole exchange changes. The disrespect loses speed. The pressure loses force. and you stop feeding the frame they wanted to pull you into. Remember this: the fastest reaction is rarely the strongest. The strongest response usually arrives after the ego has been delayed. That is the truth. You do not need to win immediately. You need to stay unrecruited. And 3 seconds is often enough to keep your dignity in place. But sometimes even a calm sentence is already too much. Sometimes the strongest move is smaller than that. Let's go there. 5. The strongest move is to end the loop. This is where most people fail. Not at the first insult. At the second round, you answered well. You stayed calm. And they still keep pushing. That tells you everything. They do not want clarity. They want access. Access to your time, your emotion, your attention, your next reaction. So end the loop. Set the line. Then leave the game. That doesn't work for me. I'm not discussing this like this. This conversation is over. 1 sentence. Then stop. No defense. No second version. No extra emotion to make the boundary easier to accept. Because the sentence sets the boundary. The silence after it enforces it. That is where dignity returns. Most people lose it by speaking again, explaining again, trying one more time to be understood. But the more you stay, the more of yourself you trade away. So remember the pattern. First, disrespect tempts you to prove something. Then it pushes you into reaction. Then it makes everything feel personal. And if you still stay there, it turns your dignity into one more response. That is why the final move is not louder. It is cleaner. Dignity is not in the comeback. It is in the refusal to become what they provoked. You do not need the last word. You need to remain intact. Disrespect does not define you. Your response does. This wasn't a lesson in control over life. It was a lesson in control over you. Self-respect is not something you demand. It's something you demonstrate. Power is not loud. It's measured. Calm is not passive. It's controlled. Your sovereignty begins at your reaction. You're not walking this path alone. In the next lesson, we'll go deeper into how people pull you off center without raising their voice. Subscribe to Stoic Calm Code. See you in the next lesson. One calm decision at a time.